Welcome to Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports, where husky middle-aged men share insight on the latest Baltimore sports news. From the bank to the yard and beyond, we're breaking down the Ravens, Orioles, Terps, and more. Baltimore's best sports podcast starts now. Fellas, how's it going tonight?
Good.
Again, don't all speak at once. You guys are great at this.
I'm
Go
good.
well, Jason. Thank you for your enthusiastic introduction.
Yeah, man. Why not? Oh, Lord.
I still
So,
can't believe Houston lost.
we're going
That's
to do
still
that?
eat-
Here, hold on,
it's
John.
still eating me inside. Yeah, the gamblers rigged these
In case
things.
you're wondering, that's one shining moment because Florida won. That means Jason wins. Okay.
Yeah.
And John loses. Okay.
Well, Mike lost.
also loses, but Mike wasn't in it at the end because
Nope.
John had more points than Mike. And if Houston would have won, John would have won. But it only proves that I'm a genius and John, you are subpar. So
Even a blind horse finds water once in a while.
oh,
Broken clock is still right twice a day.
I don't know. Can you ask a blind horse whether or not it's found water? What's the
well, it's
answer
still
to that?
live. It's still live, I'd assume. So
That's true. No. I won too, kind of, but I also lost because I picked Florida a long time ago, but then I changed my mind. So anyway,
well, come on. Horseshoes, hand grenades, all of that stuff.
small nuclear warheads. Yeah.
Right. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I'll tell you, the national championship game did not disappoint. But before we get into that, I want to know what you guys have been up to this week. Anything exciting? Anything new? Like, what are we missing here, Mike? You bring some fun to the group.
I mean, I have no fun. I will tell you this. Actually, I lie. I do have a little bit of fun. Besides pulling my calf muscle again, doing the same exact thing, the same exact weeknight, 1 week later, at the same exact point in time in the game. It must be something. I don't know. I decided I need to take a week off of indoor soccer next week. But in addition to that, I was on rollerblades today. We decided to do a little roller hockey in our phys ed classes, give the kids the option, which I like to make my lap around the school building and wave hi to the kids in the classrooms and watch them point and like kind of drop their jaw a little bit and be like, what the heck is going on? So I did a little parade, if you will, of one around the building today and did some rollerblading.
Did you stay upright?
Yeah, I think it's all about speed management. So just a little baby push off left, a little baby push off right. Learned it at the old skate land in Putty Hill. Just got to be super careful. There's no carpet, which was nice at the old skate land. You know how they had that carpet around the outside. You could do a little practice in, a little bit more friction. But I did okay today, honestly. I'm not going to lie. I schooled some kids in some roller hockey. Tried the triple deke, Mighty Ducks style, but it was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I was assuming at this point in your life, the speed is lacking anyway, so you can manage that quite well.
Hey, yeah. I mean, I thought that went without saying.
Yeah.
And one more thing going on in my life. I don't know if you guys know, but it's almost tax day, which is bad for me now, apparently, because today I found out is the first time in the history of my life that I owe taxes, and I'm pretty sad about that.
Oh, let me tell you, that is like the first time that happened to me. I was young. I was single. I did not own a home. And I just got into the working world, and it was a sales job. So like, I was doing well. And I went to H&R Block, and this woman's helping me. And I'm sorry, I hope I don't offend anyone, but she was an Asian lady. And she goes, oh, you owe this money. And I'm like, okay. She goes, but it's okay. You make lots of money. I'm like, no, it's not okay. It's not okay that I owe any money. Just because I make money, I would like to put it in my pocket and not give it to the government. So it is not okay.
So yeah, I don't want to give my money to the government, John. So I need some suggestions. I mean, I'm not talking about offshore bank accounts, but you seem like a smart young fella. What can I do?
Well, you could
This is
give
gonna be
some more
great. Just
money.
so you all know, this
Well,
is gonna be great.
well, you could donate some money to your alma mater. You could give some more money to charity. You could have another kid. You could adopt. You could do a number of things. I uh, I had this problem as well, Jason, several years ago. I was at a car dealer where for some reason, they didn't take any money out of your paycheck. So like I thought I was doing well, and then I get this bill from the IRS for like 8 grand because they hadn't taken any money out. And I'm like, thankfully I had kind of watched this and noticed it, but you know, I think I think that they'll get theirs. They'll always get theirs.
Oh,
Maybe get a job, change careers, Mike. Get a job like that you rely on tips because there's no tax on tips. Something like that. But I think having another child or adopting or fostering or something like that, or having the Mike Frisky wing at Concordia Preparatory Academy, that's a nice ring to it. That'd save you some money
I'm
with
not. I'm not sure that I
with them.
have that to give, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not changing jobs anytime soon. I'm definitely not having kids anytime soon. Maybe I can contribute more to my Roth. I'm not sure, but those ideas are interesting, John.
Yeah, well, I try. I try to help you, and I'm not a CPA or anything by any stretch of the imagination.
I don't know what to say. Like, what's that Billy Madison quote, Mike? The one about the being dumber. Can you say that for me real quick?
I award you 0 points. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yep. Please go ahead, repeat.
And may God have mercy on your soul.
What in the blue hell is the matter with you, boy? Let me tell you. So, yes, you can write off children, but you do realize they stay in your home for a minimum of 18 years if you're a decent human being. And then you have to feed them. You have to clothe them. You have to put them in sports and take care of them. You can't just have another child and write it off. Stop speaking. Again, please come to the corner. We'll let you know when it's your turn.
He asked for ideas, and those are ideas of ways to save money on taxes.
And in John's defense, I didn't ask for good ideas.
No, he just asked for ideas.
I just asked for ideas, not good ideas. So that was my fault. I should have been more clear.
I don't know. Do you have an accountant, Mike?
Yeah, I have a cousin who helps us out. She's awesome, fantastic. I'm sure she's doing everything she can.
It's funny because it's like in your situation with you guys, I'm assuming you guys, obviously you file jointly, and and I'm sure you guys are doing well. So that's good. But there are obviously there's things you can do, but they all involve giving your money away one way or another. So
yeah,
have fun with that. Been there, done that. I'm pretty sure. I mean, the amount I've paid in taxes over my lifetime has funded some small village somewhere. It's ridiculous. It drives me crazy. Those are the things.
Well, now that I know, I can at least be proactive. That's the key, right? So we were getting close, Julie got a new job, which was exciting for us. But then apparently 2 full-time paychecks do something to a tax bracket where you hop up probably a level. So now we'll just have to be a little bit more, more thoughtful with what we're doing.
I always wanted to. Did you open a 529 for your kids?
Yeah, we have one for each of our kids.
So can you put more in there or something? That's a good idea. That's not
definitely we can do that for sure.
And church, donate to church. I don't know if John said that. I was too busy caught up on the children thing. I couldn't remember what was happening. But yeah, all kinds of ways. I would suggest checking with your accountant, as I am not a tax professional. So please don't hold that against me, and please don't take John's advice, please. Oh God. All right, we digress. We're moving on. So the national championship game on Monday. Did you guys have a chance to catch it, or did you guys go sleepy and miss it?
No, I stayed up and I watched, unfortunately, the whole thing. I watched the Orioles game on my phone or on my iPad and watched the national championship game on the larger television.
Fabulous. Mike, did you happen to catch it?
So I saw a bit of it. I saw the ending. I had a soccer game. That was the game where my calf muscle was trying to detach from my body. But we were watching it on the way home. Not that I was driving and watching it, but my friend had it up on his phone in the car. So we were watching the very end where he did the old double pump, drop the ball, not get a shot off at the end of the game, which originally I was like, man, what a horrible way to end a national championship game. And then I'm thinking in my head, like, the other team's playing defense. Like, that's really an outstanding way probably to end a national championship game if you're talking about how defense wins championships.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the same thing. I was watching the Oriole game like John was on my phone, or no, actually, I was watching the national championship game on my phone. I was watching the Oriole game on the TV. But regardless, I thought it was a great game. I mean, obviously, Houston had it in control for a while, but I had no doubts that Florida was going to make the runs that they did, and obviously that's what happened. But for a game to end like that, to me, Mike, I'm more leaning towards you. It's when you have the best defensive team in the country, actually, is the team that lost, and ironically enough, by a defensive play. So I mean, when we did this whole thing, we mapped everything out. I won our pool because I did pick Florida and Houston, and I did end up picking Florida to win, mainly because again I thought they were the most complete team in the country. But they survived a lot of ups and downs, Mike. And I mean, to me, either one of these teams that would have won at the end, I mean, you would have had to give it to them, and they would have been deserved.
Yeah, it was a great national championship game. Two really good teams. Houston had it in control. I mean, they were up by 10 to 12 points there early on the second half. Thought that, when I got out of the car, I was like, man, I think it's going to be Houston's night. Came back in, saw the very end of the game. But Walter Clayton Jr.? That young man made plays in every single game when Florida needed it. And that night, Monday night, it was a defensive play that he made at the end of the game. He didn't shoot quite as well in the national championship game that he did in some of their previous victories. But Richard stepped up in the first half and kept him in the game with 3 or 4 threes of his own. Condon played better in the second half, made some key buckets when they kind of got back and scratched back into the game. And then obviously that final defensive play. But I think this game should be remembered for, some grit. It's a game in the 60s, right? For a team that can score well over 80, in Florida most of the time. So they found a way to win, which is the impressive part. And I know that's what their coach was talking about, Golden, after the game.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the two very well-deserved teams in there, John. And again, it really just came down to, I mean, you could say it comes down to one play, but it didn't. I mean, Houston had plenty of opportunity to pull away and seal things off. But they just kept letting Florida back in the game.
Well, Houston, I think if my memory serves me correctly, they didn't even get a shot off for the last 2 minutes and 30 some odd seconds of the game. So it wasn't even just that last play. It's they drove the ball and then got it stripped. They just turned the ball over 3 times in the last 2.5 minutes, and Florida didn't. Florida capitalized on every opportunity that they were given, and that's the way you got to win the game. And Florida showed that they're not just a Walter Clayton Jr. show, that they got other guys on that squad who could go out there and still compete. But it shows, like you guys were mentioning, you got to play defense. And New Mexico, Houston had just the breakdowns on the defensive end that just destroyed them. And, I thought 12 points up, I said, they're going to be in big trouble because I think they might get a little lackadaisical, and then Florida's going to make their run, just like Florida did in every single game of this tournament. And you know what? They got it done at the end, and, those one play, but not really.
Well, the one thing I question with the whole ending to the game, because they inbounded the ball and brought it up, I believe there was 20 seconds left on the clock, right? And a lot of teams do this, and it drives me crazy sometimes. But again, let me just remind everyone that Houston was the number 1 defensive team in the country. So they got the ball with 20 seconds, and instead of holding for the last shot, I think they should have gone ahead and tried to score for whatever first opening was there. Go ahead and score, because what happens is put Florida at the line, let them seal the game, or play defense yourself. Again, you're the best defensive team in the country, and you're up by 1. So you were down by 1. So even if Florida makes 2 shots, you still have a shot to tie. So Mike, if it's me, I'm drawing something up. saying, hey guys, just score whatever's open. And most of the time it's an open layup.
No, I don't disagree. I was thinking in my head, are they going to try to get a quick shot off, or are they going to try to run all 19 seconds off and take the last shot of the game? Because I know you had talked about that with Maryland a couple times this season, but the problem was they were out of timeouts, so they couldn't really stop the clock and have a conversation about it. So that made a big difference as well, because I think if you have a timeout there, you can use it, you can discuss what you're going to do, you can decide who's going to get the ball in their hands. And really, you watch the play over and over again, right? And they run a series of high screens trying to get a shooter open. I wish they would have taken the ball inside or had something, a play. I mean, they could have easily called a play on the fly, right? The coach can call a play from the sideline, hand, fist, whatever it is, call the play, and then make sure you get the ball in the paint, which it looked like they had all their bigs out on the perimeter setting screens. There was nobody down low. Just get the ball in the paint, either by passing it to a big or driving it into the lane. And all night they had been getting the ball off the rim for putbacks or kickouts. That would have given them an opportunity, possibly a second chance. So maybe you go with, I don't know, you go right away and then look for a putback. That way you have multiple opportunities, like you said, Jason, or maybe at least go with 8-10 seconds left and then try to look for a putback.
Right. And again, it comes down to what the score was. They weren't down by 2. So even if they missed and had foul shots, they wouldn't have been out of range of one shot. When Maryland, what I was upset about Maryland is the game was tied. So the game was tied and we're doing it. We're not running the clock down. Now that's okay. But because you're down by 1, it gives you a couple options there. And that was the frustrating thing for me. But look, I mean, now I think I'm nitpicking, John. Again, if either team would have won, it would have been well-deserved. So.
Well, and I just watched the last play again, and they used their timeout before, so they had to go the full length of the court, because what we saw a lot in this tournament was that they would inbound the ball, get it past half court, and then call timeout, because then you can run a set play off the inbounds instead of having to try to hope that, okay, you get the ball up the court with the pressure, and then you got to figure out, okay, we got to get in a set. So that kind of, in my mind, was a question of why didn't you get the ball in, get it across half court, call time? You still would have had, 14, 15, 16 seconds left to go. But, they were, and I just watched, like I said, just watch it again. And there's a lot of standing around, a lot of Houston guys standing around, just kind of watching. And then when that
probably
ball
dead
hit
tired.
the floor, yeah. It's not like they played, 39 minutes of ball before this, but then when he dropped the ball, when he went up for the shot, the Houston guys are just standing there looking at it, and then Florida pounced on the ball and things. But if you watch it again, there were lanes to drive. And I don't necessarily understand, like Jason, I got exactly what you're saying. I don't necessarily understand why you're going for the last shot when you have 15 seconds to do your job.
Yeah, it was just
into the rack.
Right. I mean, to me, it's because, again, I'm really stuck on because they were down by 1 and it gave them the option of, hey, if we miss, and they still have to sink 2. If they sink 2, we're still in this game. And I don't know. But great season for Houston, great season for Florida. Great tournament for me. Daddy is the champion.
Hey, Jason, what about that guy on the traffic light?
Did you see him? Yeah.
Did you see him?
Did you see that, Mike, in Florida? So
no.
This guy gets up on this traffic light. It's during one of these, whenever a college wins a national championship, what do? We run out and we riot and smash cars and burn down houses and trees and other crap. So he gets up on this traffic light and he starts jumping up and down in the middle of it. And then he comes crashing down because I'm sure he was 100% sober and well within his mind. So, oh, dude, I haven't seen somebody fall that hard since, I don't know. But, man, that was brutal. All right.
Did you see that the Terps finished ranked number 9 in the final AP pool? So, top 10 season, Kevin Willard's exit. So, there you go.
That means nothing to me, by the way. The end of season rankings are so useless to me in every sport. I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm like, why? Did you win the championship? No. Did you make the tournament? Absolutely. Did you make a run? It's, hey, they made it to the Sweet 16. It was a good year. I don't care if you're ranked 9th or whatever. Doesn't matter to me.
And did you see Jameer Young scored his first NBA points? That's pretty awesome too.
Oh, that is cool.
So my question for you gentlemen then is, should every town that wins take after Philly and like make sure they grease the light poles and things so that people don't do dumb stuff like this?
No, because greasing the light poles got a kid killed. Absolutely not. Stop it. If you want to call the National Guard and just tell them or give them all curfews, like go home. Okay, your team won. Enjoy your beverages. Same thing happened in College Park when the Terps won the national championship. Bunch of idiots. Like, what is wrong with you?
Whatever happened to a chest bump and a high five? I mean, I don't know what the deal is.
Dude, I like back when I was in college and all this stuff. Trust me, I did some dumb crap, but it never did I say my team won. Let me go break someone's windshield and throw fire bombs down the street. Like, who the hell does that? Like, I don't know. I don't know what
who grabs real estate signs and start moving them around. Nobody does that stuff.
Yeah, not at all. Who does that to election signs either? No one. All right, moving on.
Well, but guys, just real quick. Here's my question: though, is back in the day, how many people did this? And now people are still doing it. We just have instant access to it. You know, like back in our parents' days, were they doing these things? They just didn't have the access to, you know, video recorders and things like that.
I don't know. I don't know. I think the police were stricter back then with certain things. They just beat the crap out of you and throw you in jail. Now, if that happens, you get caught on camera and it's a big deal. Like, not good. So you don't want to do that. But all right, moving on. So speaking of the University of Maryland, Buzz Williams, guys, adds 2 more guys in his transfer from the transfer portal. So we now have a starting lineup. We have 5 guys that we can put on the court. The newest guys, David Coit, I think is his name. If I'm mispronouncing it, it's because I haven't looked it up yet. But he's from Kansas. He was formerly with Northern Illinois and Atlantic Cape Community College. He was a scorer with Northern Illinois, averaging over 20 points a game. He's more of a combo guard, I think. Probably he's small though, so might handle the ball. He's about 5'11". And then the newest guy to come over from Texas A&M, Andre Mills, who is a bigger combo type guard. So those are 2 guys that Buzz brought in. Mike, what do you think? Anything? Did you do any research on these guys?
I mean, just what you said. I saw that the Mills guy had put in earlier, but he had put "don't contact me" basically on his on his transfer portal, which basically says, "Hey, I already know where I want to go." So I assumed that Maryland would snatch him up and he would follow Buzz. I mean, I think it's a good sign that his players want to follow him. That they enjoy playing for him and that they want to be here. So you have 3, I think, is it 3 Jason A&M players now that have transferred to Maryland? Yep. So, I mean, that's to me a good sign. I'm in judgment mode, reserving judgment mode, excuse me. I want to wait and see what's going on and then we'll go from there.
I mean, what's he going to do at this point? You're right, Mike. Like, we're reserving judgment, but like, I mean, he's got to build a team. He's got to start somewhere. And it has to be through the portal, John. I mean, we went on last week about how pretty much the gates are closed for your for getting anyone out of high school. So we got to go the transfer portal way.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the guys that came, and the only guy that really stands out to me is Farrell. Because as I looked at Coit played in 34 games with 3 starts at Kansas. He averaged 5.1 points and 1.5 rebounds per game. So it's not like we're bringing in like a, top of the line starter. We're bringing in maybe a 6th man, maybe a second guy off the bench sort of player, not a, replacement for a Miguel or a replacement for, any of those guys.
But why not, John? Hold on. I don't think you can say that because Kansas is competing for the national championship every single year. When this kid was at Northern Illinois, he was scoring over 20 points a game. And Northern Illinois is not a bad school. And I mean, they make some noise in the tournament. So to me, he had to take a back seat at one of the best colleges in the country that compete every year again for a national championship. So to bring him in here, though, with a barren lineup, John, I think he's got all the opportunity. I don't mean to cut you off, but this is what this is about. When you don't have anyone in your kitchen and you start bringing people in, we're going to see what you're going to cook.
Right, but what I'm saying is if we weren't in this situation, he's in the transfer portal and he's a first or second guy off the bench. Where we are, we just need guys with experience, with college experience, who have played at the high level, who can help fill the role for just taking our lumps next year, so that Buzz can go to the the high schools and start actually recruiting players that we can hit it with light speed, and we'll be light years ahead of this before long.
So what you're saying is he's a pizza rolls and not the filet mignon in the kitchen.
Sure.
Okay, Mike, you want to help?
I like pizza rolls. I mean, if we're going to talk about pizza rolls,
I like the combo pizza rolls with bacon and sausage and pepperoni in them.
Well, Jason said he's a combo guard, so I think that makes sense.
Or remember the combos, those little like pretzel things with cheese in the middle?
Oh my God, you guys are killing me right now with this stuff.
You're explaining to the public what a combo is? Have you never had a combo?
Well, some of them taste like cheese, some of them taste like pizza.
Oh yeah, they have flavor. They're called flavors,
Yeah.
John.
Yeah, I understand.
It's a rolled up pretzel with cheese whiz in it.
I buy those at the gas station generally,
Oh my goodness. Mike, you want to touch on anything else from the University of Maryland and Mr. Buzz?
No, I think again, I think let's just slow play that, see how the off season kind of formulates itself, and I think he's on the right track. We have players now, so that's exciting.
Yes. Well, speaking of players, I don't want to do this next segment. I really don't. I'm not in the mood for it. I'm sad. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. But the Orioles just came off a 2-4 road trip out to the Midwest and out west. And it wasn't pretty, guys. I can tell you that. With what else is coming home, Zach Eflin joined the MASH unit, which is our rotation. And even the guys in the rotation right now, very underwhelming. I don't want to overreact, but even it's a lot more for me right now, Mike, than just a rotation. The offense, they haven't had back-to-back games where they've scored 3 or more runs. Like, something's got to give here. And it's not like they're out in Colorado and Detroit, which it's like 30 degrees right now. They're playing in 90-degree Arizona. And it wasn't that bad in Kansas City.
I mean, usually I feel like in the beginning of the year, the pitchers are ahead in the ball game and the hitters are catching up until the summer comes. Our hitters are not ahead in the ball game. Now, we have some guys who are hitting for a decent average, but we are not stringing hits together in a way to produce runs, that's kind of a scary thing. And to me, it's like it's a momentum thing. I don't feel like there's a positive momentum with this team right now, because every time you turn around, there's something bad happening, like another lat strain. Can we have surgery to remove the lats from our pitchers? Is that something that we can do? Because I feel like every time we turn around, someone's straining a lat muscle. And then we already have a depleted pitching staff. Like you said, we have Grayson hopefully is on the mend, but who knows with that. You have Charlie Morton, who's pitched horribly pretty much for the most part. You've got Sagano, who was hit and miss. He had a good start and a bad start pretty much. And then you have Dean Kramer, who got lit up today. You guys, I didn't see the game today, but maybe you can speak to what you saw today, John.
He pitched well for 4 innings, and then in the 5th inning, he just fell apart. He gave up back-to-back home runs on back-to-back pitches, and then just kind of went out. But I mean, we were making mental errors today. Like, there was a wild pitch / pass ball, and O'Hearn didn't start running until there was Adley Rushman was on second, O'Hearn was on first. And instead of running as Adley's running, O'Hearn waited. Then he gets thrown out at second base, and our entire rally is done. So we're making mistakes, on the base paths. We're, again, like we talked about the other night, putting guys in center field who shouldn't be in the outfield, things like this. But we can't score runs on consecutive nights. And they even mentioned on the broadcast today that we haven't even seen the back of the bullpen in a week.
Yeah. And, it's funny, Mike, we teach our kids to take strong and somewhat, as long as they're paying attention, somewhat, what word am I trying to think? Greedy in a way, secondary leads, aggressive secondary leads. I watched the replay with O'Hearn on that one, and I'm not bashing on him, but when the ball got away from the catcher, his secondary lead was like a step off of first base. And then he tried to take off after his momentum stopped. Like, guys, that's fundamental stuff. And now, you start letting the fundamentals go, we have a much bigger problem than I think we do if we start going down that road. Something on let's see, what's today? Wednesday. On Tuesday night, that I was that frustrated me. Mullins was on first base, and was it Mullins? Yeah, Mullins was on first base, and O'Neill was at the plate. And they threw over to first base before he threw a first pitch. And then he threw a strike. Then he stepped off and threw over again. So he had his second disengagement. 0-1 to O'Neill. And the pitch came in. And instead of Mullins taking off to second base, I think there was a guy on third. Instead of taking off to second base, O'Neill runs into a double play. Why not give him the take sign? Trust one of your best base stealers. I'm not going to say fastest guys because he's actually not one of the faster guys according to the sprint speed, but he's one of the best base stealers. Like, that's the kind of stuff when things aren't going well, get things going a little bit. And again, it's just me sitting here playing Monday morning quarterback. But Mike, it's frustrating when nothing is working. You're rolling into double plays. You're hitting balls to left field. Like, even that play in left field yesterday that we were texting back and forth about with that the umpires went nuts and screwed everything up for 20 minutes.
Well, yeah, because Tyler O'Neill was doing something stupid again. I don't understand. Have they never run the bases before? I don't understand that.
The only thing I can say, the only person that did the right thing on that in my mind was Cedric Mullins, who went back and tagged. But even O'Neill, it was very clear the umpires didn't call anything. So I don't know the actual rule of what happens when no one makes a call on the field. What do you do? Assume what? I don't know. I'm asking.
But I mean, I don't disagree with you on that, Jason. But like, read the play. Like, even if he misses that ball, you can still get the third if he's slaying out for it. You just go halfway. But I don't understand why he had to be standing on third base. There was no reason for it. Now, I get it. He's trying to score. He's the tie-in run. I understand that piece to it. But you have to read the play, too. You have to understand what happens if he catches it. Because now you just ran yourself out of the inning. We should have had another at-bat with a guy on third base and a chance to tie the game. I think that was, seventh or eighth inning, late in the game. So you're taking the bat out of somebody else's hands. And I've seen that from O'Neill a couple times. He didn't slide at home plate the other night. Like, I'm seeing these not high baseball IQ plays from some of the Oriole players, and it makes me wonder, like you're saying, Jason, it's the fundamentals. And when you're playing Major League Baseball and these teams are so evenly matched, those little things add up in these games. And we haven't even played one-run games too much this year. We've only played a few of them. But you see what's happening in the one-run games. We're losing them.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of that really screwed that play up is the fact that the bases were loaded. So O'Neill had a guy behind him. He had a guy in front of him. So you assume, in my mind, everyone assumes the catch. If you assume the catch, you have two guys at first base. So what do? So, except the batter, because the batter doesn't, obviously he just goes first base and waits. So I don't know. To me, it was one of those plays that just, it took any momentum wind right out of their sails. So I don't know, John. I mean, as far as the outlook here, to me, the way the pitching staff is and the way that the offense seems to, there's no consistency. I picked this team to go to the World Series. I'm not so sure that they're going to get out of the month of April.
Well, like we talked about on Sunday, it's how much of this is on Brandon Hyde for doing things like not putting Holiday in a lot. Holiday was hot. Henderson struck out, I think 8 times. I think he struck out 8 times in 13, 14 at bats since he's been up here. Does he need to move down the lineup a little bit, get back and, get confidence back and get, used to because he didn't really have a spring training. Gunner's basically starting the season now when everybody else has already been, playing for 2 months, but, not playing Holiday on Sunday when he had what, 3 games in a row, I think, with a hit, and just kind of things like this. And then that play, and it's just one thing after another. And it seems like we get 3-4 innings of good starting pitching, but around that 5th inning, I don't know what happens. We just kind of blow up. So I think is it the second or the third game where we've had a blow up in the 5th, where we've been tied or close, and in the 5th inning we give up like 4 or 5 runs, and then the whole thing just kind of goes down the crapper. But I think we got to do something in the lineup too to kind of move guys around and try to get some offense going and getting some, I don't know, running, stealing. We have fast. I mean, like Mullins and Gunner and Holidays. We got to get something going so we get some excitement in that locker room, because I just don't think right now there's much.
I think we have to be very careful to put the blame on Brennan Hyde for these lineups and such. The way that baseball is nowadays, and the teams that are analytically heavy, like the Dodgers, the Orioles, other teams, I'm telling you right now that, I've heard enough rumblings through that a lot of these lineups aren't just Brandon Hyde. Every game is a Sig, Elias, Brandon Hyde, and other organizations do the same thing. It's not just the manager does this. They don't put it all on the manager. The Buck days of making all the decision are over in baseball, like for most teams. So I don't 100% know the hierarchy of how it works, but I'm telling you, it's not just Brandon Hyde. And Mike, to me, there's just, if it was one thing that I thought was the issue, this would be a lot easier, but it's not. It's so many things.
Yeah, there's a lack of I see, John, you said consistency. To me, there's a lack of consistency is the word I'm looking for, right? And it's consistency in making routine plays, consistency in running the bases. And I know, John, you talk about mixing the lineup. I would like to see the same lineup, at least in a few different spots. Like, I know you have to, lefty, righty, match that up, but like, if I'm a 2-hole hitter, let me be a 2-hole hitter when I'm in the lineup. If I'm the 3-hole hitter, let me be the 3-hole hitter, because there's responsibilities that involved in each of those spots in the lineup. And when you get comfortable, that's when you start to play well. When you have to think about the mechanics of the position you're playing when it changes every day, and when you have to think about the spot in the order that you're playing every day, you can't just play free. And if you guys have all played the game, and if anyone has played the game, it's how you get to be a better player. Is the more things become muscle memory, the more free you play. And you don't have to think about all the little things that become more and more automatic. And now you're only thinking about the smallest things. But when you have the lineup changing, and one day you're batting 2, and then you're batting 7, and one day you're playing second base, but the next day you're playing shortstop, you're thinking about already a ton of things, because baseball is one of the most intricately detailed games that you can play. And then you're adding this layer on top of it. It makes it very difficult. And Jason, I agree with you that Elias's fingerprints are all over the starting lineup almost every day.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the 12 different lineups, I think, that's absurd. That is absolutely absurd. Do you remember growing up, we'd go outside and play baseball, wiffle ball, or whatever, and we would pretend like we were the Orioles and we knew the lineup by heart? Like, give me a freaking break. Like, I just don't. These poor guys. Like, it's clear to me Westberg's best position is third base. Should be playing third base. Urias can play the hell out of third base, but he can play better at second base. Like, no matter what I say or anybody says, that man is going to be in the lineup until he dies. So whether he should or not. But it's like there needs to be a constant here. And I do think that, like, clearly what's happening out in Arizona, Mateo didn't really work himself into much of the lineup. So that might be a foregone conclusion, which is fine. And there's not a whole lot. We've talked about this before. There's not a whole lot down in the minors that are going to come up and be able to help out much. So unless they bring somebody from the outside, which I don't think they need to do yet, I do think they all need to get on the same page. But moving Mullins from first to third to fifth in the lineup, they're like, good God, guys, settle on something and go with it.
Well,
Anybody
and
have anything else
today,
to say about the
well,
Orioles?
today we didn't even have an extra base hit. We had 4 hits and 6 total base runners.
Look, the one thing
And
I will
grounded
say,
into
John,
2 more double plays.
there's going to be games though, like this just wasn't one of the, like, yesterday's loss to me was much worse than today, because you're going to have these duds, these 7-0 duds every once in a while. Like, that's fine. Things aren't working. But when you lose 5-4, it's usually because of something dumb, or because you didn't hit in the right, like you couldn't hit with no outs, or you had guys on base, you couldn't get them across. Those are the frustrating games. But these 7-0 games, fine. Everyone has them. The Dodgers have them. They just won another World Series. Like, I'm okay with that. The blowouts happen in every sport.
Yeah,
Well,
and you're playing 3-game series most of the time, right? And usually in a 3-game series, you win one, they win one, and it's the one in the middle that matters. And that's what happened in this series with Arizona. We haven't won a series yet.
Nope.
We split with Toronto, and we've lost since then. And like you said, it's those close games in those rubber games of the series that we're struggling with, and that was what we were doing well, the last couple of years, and we're not doing it yet this year.
Well, and here's something mentioned on the broadcast today that kind of plays in the Orioles' favor right now with the injuries that we have. Having an off day tomorrow, but then also having an off day on Monday may help with some of these starting pitching things, and maybe some of these lineup things as well. Maybe that we can work out some of these kinks. We can, work on a few things that may be able to help us out. I don't know. It's Ben McDonald mentioned that today on the broadcast that we can sit the pitchers down. We can do some things. So, I mean, and the positive thing about our pitchers is they're throwing first pitch strikes. I think there was only a couple hitters who didn't get a first pitch strike. So, that's a positive to look at. But I mean, it's just very frustrating, the whole thing.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and it's like the 4 guys that they have going, like, I believe their schedule works out so that they may not need a 5th starter for a bit, so they can keep rolling with what they have. But the 4 they have, Mike, makes me very concerned. I wasn't concerned before, but now the way that it's playing out, Morton didn't look good. Sagano looked fine. Even in the first start, he looked good till he started having the hand cramping. I'm okay with that for now. Like, he is what I've expected so far. Nothing more, nothing less. And it's Dean Kramer, dude. Whew. I don't know. I am very concerned, but I don't want the sky's not falling. I'm not ready to jump off a bridge, but I'm very concerned.
There's no stopper right now in the starting rotation. I mean, we were talking about Corbin Burns, obviously was that guy last year, and we were hoping Grayson would be that guy this year. Well, Grayson hasn't been in the starting rotation, and now you lost your next best thing to that, which is Zach Eflin. You're on like the 4th best option if you compare this team to last year for a stopper in a game where you need a win. So, like, who's your guy? Are you telling me Sagano's the stopper now in this starting rotation? Is he the one who has to pick up that win in a must-win game? That's a scary proposition. And I'm scared that we're going to – obviously, I shouldn't be in panic mode, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, are we going to dig ourselves a hole we can't get out of? I think in the second half of the season, if we get some of these pitchers again, we can't guarantee that, but if we get Bradish back or something like that, maybe Grayson comes back healthy, we could go on maybe an opposite. We've been doing well in the beginning of the year, the last few years, and maybe we have a reverse where we play well at the end of the year. Going into the playoffs, that could be good. But can we not dig ourselves a hole that's too large early? And can we just tread water at least for a while some of these injuries dissipate?
Absolutely.
Well, can a guy like Kyle Gibson step in and give us a couple good starts? A veteran presence that can maybe give us, like I said, a couple starts here or there, or even if it has to be one of those, what do they call them, like the bullpen games?
Are you excited about that, John? Though I'd rather see Brandon Young up here and have some youth and just something exciting. Like, to me, that's what the team needs. They need some new energy, because right now they have 5 guys like Kyle Gibson. Like there's nobody in the rotation that I'm excited to watch. Povich, maybe. I guess you could say Povich. But like besides that, I'm not excited to watch those guys as much.
Unfortunately, sometimes over reliable just is what you need. I mean, Gibson might have to come in and throw 3-run baseball. And I'm sorry, if we can't score more than 3 runs tonight, good freaking God, what are we going to do? Like, that's a bigger problem than anything else. So I'll take 3-run baseball. But you're right, Mike. Brandon Young's ready. Like, I've been following him, and I don't think there's anything else he can prove down there. The problem is just making sure he's stretched out to what they want and see what happens. But again, they might not need that 5th starter for a while with the days off. But both those guys are ready to go as far as I'm concerned. I know Gibson's got a start coming up. Was that tonight? Do you know who it was against? I think it was against.
He was supposed to go up against Strider. Yeah.
Strider. That's fun.
I mean, is Big Al's injury any concern to you guys at all?
I didn't think he was going to make the roster anyway.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning
60 days isn't good.
Yeah, we're only 2 weeks into the season, so it's not time for panic or buying or selling or anything yet.
Well, no, I mean, there's no selling. What are you going to sell? I mean, he's hurt. You're going to sell O'Neal? All these other guys they're not selling those guys. Like, Come on. Like, we're not in that position because we don't spend money on free agents, so there's nothing to sell.
Yeah, well, if you were up on the pop culture with the high school kids, selling means something completely different these days, and we're definitely selling in those terms.
Christ, come on. I'm old and crotchety. All right.
Well, I just Googled this, Mike, and I'm not seeing anything.
Selling means that you're horrible at something.
Here's the Urban Dictionary. Selling is choking, especially in a video game, making a dumb or unforced error, getting carried, being a bot, whatever that means.
Selling means that you're doing awful. That's what they're doing right now.
Then why don't they just say doing awful? Why do we have to have another word for another word? Like, I don't get it. I had this conversation.
Dude, Skivity Alpha Sigma Rizzler. Whatever that means.
Well, we had swag, and then there was another name for the clothes you. There's always like a drip, and there's all these different terms that just come and
bet,
go.
Meaning good. I'm like, why don't you just say good? Why do you say bet? Like, that's not what bet means. Bet means what Daddy does when he gets his phone and tries to make money. Like
FanDuel, yeah.
Yeah, what the hell?
Bet. Yeah.
All right, I can't.
Slay. That's slay, Jason. Or it's cringe. One or the other.
You guys are going to make me end it all. All right, moving on. It's a tradition like none other, Michael. It is Masters Week. And because it's Masters Week, Mike came up with a fabulous idea for all of us to do. I'm going to have to go last on this one because I'm still contemplating. But Mike says, if you could play golf, now can these gentlemen be dead or ladies be dead or alive?
I mean, if you really wanted to play golf with them, I wouldn't suggest them being dead, but you can choose players who no longer are with us.
Okay. So we are going to choose our dream foursome that we want to play golf with. I want to be very clear. This foursome has to do with golf. If you're hoping it's something else, click on one of those other internet sites y'all do. Okay. But this one is the golf foursome. So anyone that you want to be in your foursome. John, would you like to go first, or Mike, would you like to kick it off since it was your idea?
I think Mike should kick this off.
Oh, really? I was going to defer to you. I'll take it. I have three, and then I have some choices I need you guys to help me out with. All right.
You're wearing the golf hat, so.
I do have a question. Are we choosing 3 or 4? Because are we the 4th?
You should pick. You could pick 3. I mean, you should really pick 3 because if it's a foursome, it's 4 people total. So I have my 3. And my caveat, and I don't know how you guys went with this. I was thinking sports related in the world of dad bods, crab cakes, and sports. So my 3 folks are sport related. The first one I have is Adam Jones. I absolutely would love to play golf with Adam Jones. whether to talk about the Orioles of the 2010 decade or to just hang out. He looks like just a super fun guy to hang out with. Adam Jones would be my number one in my foursome. Peyton Manning is the second guy. I think Peyton Manning would be so much fun. His sense of humor matches mine. Completely dry, hilarious. I bet he plays golf well also. So if we're doing a scramble or a best ball, I think I'd like to have him on my team. And then the third one is just kind of a personal favorite of mine. I love John Harbaugh. I would love to play golf with John Harbaugh. I would love to pick his brain about coaching and his coaching walk as a Christian, and just talk to him a little bit about the Ravens and maybe get some real insight into what's going on or what happened in that Super Bowl season, and just kind of see what he's thinking, about Lamar and how that relationship is, and just kind of shoot the poo with those guys and play some golf.
John?
So as I was going through this, I was thinking, you know what? Who would be like just fun to go spend 4 hours with? Go drink some beer, go hit some balls and things like that. So I thought, you know what? Number one has to be Charles Barkley. I think going and playing a round of golf with Chuck, it would be turbo. TRBL, turbo. The golf would be awful, but I think he would be just a very fun person to go spend 4 hours with and suffer.
The round mound of rebound,
goes.
baby. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then I think the second guy, rest in peace, but I think Earl Weaver would be a lot of fun. Would have been a lot of fun to go play a round of golf with. I think just to talk baseball with him and to just kind of get his, as I've read the book about him that just came out, the things that were going on in his head and stuff. And then the last person, and I was contemplating, like, okay, do I do like a sports person or do I do like a pop culture person? So I was throwing these around, like an Adam Sandler. Would he be fun to go golf with or something? But then I thought, you know what, we can keep it sports related, and a guy like a Tony Saragusa. Tony Saragusa would have been a amazing. He's always been one of my favorite. He was always one of my favorite Ravens players, and when he passed away, it just kind of broke my heart. But I thought Earl Weaver and Tony Saragusa on a golf team would be amazing. You would have so much fun that I think, and then had Charles Barkley in there, and I think that would just be the best 4 hours I'd ever spend in my entire life.
Well, John took one of my guys, but that's okay. Tony Saragusa was definitely one of my. But so I'm still going to go with Tony Saragusa. I'm also going to go with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is my favorite athlete of all time.
Is that because you like to gamble like he does, or?
Tis also, yeah. You like to gamble, so yes, Michael.
You also want to win if you're playing in some type of competition. I think that guarantees you a victory.
Yeah, I mean, I can't play things with my children without wanting to win. It's weird.
Me either. Candyland, Chutes and Ladders, all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh man, and my third, I originally had this as not a sports person, but I'll pivot. But my not a sports person was Garth Brooks, just so you all know. But we'll go back and figure this one out. So. I guess if it would be Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis is, again, one of my favorite athletes of all times. So I think that would be mine. Ray Lewis. Who did I say? Ray Lewis, Tony Saragusa, and Michael Jordan.
Well,
I think Michael Jordan would feel awkward, but that's
what would have been fun would have been Saragusa and Shannon Sharp. Make them share a cart.
Oh, Shannon Sharp's pretty awesome.
So I know you guys probably went through and made a list like I did. I have a few honorable mentions I want to throw out there. Maybe you guys have a couple. Colton Cowser was on my list. I think he would be a good time. Obviously, right now, he's not allowed to play golf, but I would love to play golf with Colton Cowser. Mike Elias. I mean, I just want to pick that guy's genius brain and see what he's actually thinking. I wonder if he would give me the real deal scoop on why the Orioles are doing certain things. I'm sure he wouldn't, because I'm just some random peon, but I think that would be fantastic. And then two others, J.J. Hardy and Bill Ripken. I love those guys. Ripken's hilarious. JJ Hardy was like one of my favorites of that era. So those are two guys that I had.
Oh, that's funny. Mine would be Juan Dixon because he's the best ever, and Brooks Robinson. And I just had the other guy, and I can't remember. BJ Serhoff. Those would be the
Ooh.
guys I'd want to play. All of
Yeah.
those guys, to me, would be. I mean, Brooks would probably be embarrassed by Tony Saragusa if he was in the same group, but that's fine. There's plenty of it.
Hey, what about Kevin Willard? Would he be in your foursome?
No, I mean, he's on my list of people I wish would fall down a flight of steps. But other than that,
Yeah. No, I thought somebody like a Johnny Unitas would have been pretty cool to go golf with. Either Brooks or Frank Robinson. I think Boog Powell would probably be a hoot.
yeah, that's a good.
I think Boog would have been a very good person to go with.
I think Jim Palmer would be fun too.
Yeah. I think Jim Palmer, and if you had Jim Palmer and Earl Weaver on the same foursome, oh man, that would be.
That's a 7-hour round.
Yeah.
Yeah. Palmer likes to tell stories. Yeah.
And he and Weaver didn't like each other, so
I mean,
it'd be pretty fun.
I think they respected each other, but yeah.
Yeah. After reading the book, they did not care for each other much.
I mean, look, man, when you're the two smartest, when each one of you thinks you're the smartest in the room, I mean, and there's no room for anybody else, it's gonna happen,
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so speaking of the Masters, number one, I have a beverage here: iced tea, lemonade, and vodka. So it's like the booze version of the Arnie Palmer. So
They do make an Arnold Palmer brand of the booze.
Yeah, it's probably too sweet. That's yucky. But yeah.
Can you get that at the Aldi's? That's where I shop. Can you get that at the Aldi's?
No, but they do have one that's very similar to this one. It's like their brand. This is the Surfside brand. It's the newest one out there. And see, they're not a sponsor. We can't be talking about that. We gotta block that.
See, I tried a new beverage tonight: tequila and Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Ew, it's like type 2 diabetes in a bottle.
It's delicious. It's actually zero sugar. So
nice.
Where do you get all these horrible ideas?
I don't know. I figured tequila and Taco Bell. Baja Blast is from Taco Bell with tequila. It'd be perfect, and it tastes delicious, Mike.
I like
for
it.
For Easter Sunday, I'm making peanut butter and jelly drinks. I have peanut butter whiskey, vodka. And I'm gonna put like cranberry juice or something to mix it with.
Well, the peanut butter and jelly shot's an actually pretty good shot. It's not bad.
Okay.
All right.
We'll take it from the bartender, Jason.
Yep. That's what I did. All right. Let's move forward. Speaking of the Masters, we're going to do a Masters game here in just a second where we're going to each pick 4 golfers. Each one of us, again, it'll be like it'll be a snake draft. And whoever golfers end up at the end with the best score, essentially, we're going to have a couple other rules, but the best score essentially amongst them at the end, added up, is the winner. We're going to throw some shekels on this one, see how that goes. I mean, see if I win again because I'm awesome. But before we get into that real quick, anybody, I'm really looking forward to the Masters. One of my favorite times of the year again. Opening day, March Madness. And then the Masters, it's great. It's awesome. I mean, Mike, it seems like there's two favorites and everybody else here. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, Scotty and Rory are the two that everybody are talking about. I was listening to Scott Van Pelt and Tommy Smith did a radio show or a podcast, and they were talking about just Rory's just in form and kind of due. And I'm curious if this is his year. Again, they've probably been saying that though for a decade. Rory's been good for a long time. This has eluded him. This is the one of the Grand Slams that has eluded Rory. I like Rory. He's easy to cheer for. He seems like a happy guy. He's always, always smiling on the course. Saw the kids were on the course today, I think, and you saw one of his daughters make a long putt, and he was super excited. And I don't know, something about Rory is there's magnetic personality there. So I'm rooting for Rory deep down inside, probably. Scotty, my game is most similar to Scotty's in a way that we don't score the same, but my feet move an awful lot when I swing, and he does that a little bit too. But his results are a little better.
Yeah, I mean those two again, Mike. Those are the ones that I keep hearing about, and I heard the same thing that Rory's do. I think though that I mean obviously the easy bet would be to take the field because there's all these other guys out there too, and there's some really good opportunities out there for other guys to step up. I mean, John, is there anybody else besides those two that you think could be right up there in contention?
Well, as I was doing some research and things, the name that kept coming up, and I'm not terribly familiar with him, is Cameron Smith. He's at 60-1. He has 5 top 10 finishes in his 7 starts. So I don't know a lot about him, but on multiple articles and things that I read, and I heard it on one show, that he could be the sleeper, that Cameron Smith could come out and win the his first Masters.
I mean, to me, there's like 4 or 5 guys that like right away. I mean, open shut case could win, and nobody would say a whole lot about. Obviously, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, and then the other two, Brooks Koepka, because he's done it. I mean, he's won out. I mean, it's just everyone's kind of meh. You know, he hasn't done it in a while, but man, he just come in there, do it, and at the end of it. And then the other popular names, John Rahm, and then Colin Morikawa. Those seem to be the 5 popular ones that everyone would just jump up and grab if you could. Mike, is there anybody else on the outside that you have as a sleeper that you would think, if anyone's looking?
Yeah, I don't do like fantasy golf, that kind of stuff, but I have some friends who do. And I was talking to my friend Brent, and he follows that a lot. And he was talking about this guy, Akshay Bhatia.
Mm-hmm.
He's a younger guy, and he's performed really well this year. He's got he's been averaging in the top 30 or so in his tournaments, and finished top 10 once or twice this year. But he's an up and coming golfer. He finished 35th last year at the Masters in his debut. Lefty, and they say lefties at the Masters tend to have an advantage. I don't know. I'm not a lefty, so I'm not sure. And Mike Weir, I think, was a lefty. I think he won at Augusta at some point. But I'd be curious, to see how he does. And there are some other names that kind of float around and always have a shot. Guys like Bryson DeChambeau and Xander Schauffele. I think those guys always have a shot if they're playing on their game to win a big tournament like that. Jason, real quick, have you ever played like a you played the replica of the Masters with me when we went on Fritz's bachelor party?
Yeah, renditions in Maryland. We when we did, I think I went there one other time too, but I mean that was really cool being able to play the Amen Corner. Wasn't there one other one that they had there too, or is it just that one?
They might have had one other hole from the Masters, but I know they had the Amen Corner replica holes, and that was so cool. And I know it costs a lot to get down there to the Masters and actually see the Masters, and that may be as close as I ever come. But man, is that a beautiful place, and that music when Jim Nance's voice, and like there's some nostalgia that goes along with that tournament, and usually the first big one of the year. It's just exciting. As someone who enjoys golf, it's probably one of my favorite hobbies just to see that. And then anytime you got daytime sports, that's exciting all the time, during the week.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Well, do we want to go ahead and draw the names, see who's going to pick first? So just so you guys know, I'm not cheating. There's Jason, there's John, and here's Frisk. So I'll put these in there real quick. In the hat, we're going to draw to see who goes first in our little Masters draft. Do a little shaky. And first pick, as they all stick together. Sorry. Okay, first pick.
Did you use sticky notes? That's what happens if you use sticky notes.
It was stupid, I know. All right, John gets the first pick.
Really? Wow, I'm so excited.
Oh, this is a blank one. Hold on. I got 4 in here.
John, I heard Maverick McNeely is the guy to go with your number 1 overall pick.
Jason picks second. And I'm assuming this is Mike. Yep, that was Mike. All right, John, who you got?
So,
Hold on, let me write these down so we don't have to go back and listen to it.
I'm just gonna go with Rory.
Okay. All right, and I'm just gonna play the odds. I'm gonna go with Scotty Scheffler. Mike, do you know
Fine. You two take the favorites. I'll do the third pick thing. Give
you
me
get 2 picks in a row though.
That's exciting. Thank you, Mr. Snake. I'm gonna go Morikawa. And give me John Rahm.
Very good.
Back to you, Jason.
Sorry, I'm just writing these down. Although I feel like this should be John's job, but I'll do it for you, John. Don't worry.
I can't read my own handwriting, so
That could
won't
be
be any good.
All right. I'm gonna go with, let's see, who'd you go with, Mike? Morikawa and Rahm?
Yes.
All right. Sorry, I know this is great for radio and such. I'm going to go with Ludwig Aberg.
Aberg. He's got the Angels in the outfield sign over top of his name or something. I'm not sure what's happening.
All right, John, your turn.
All right. Did anybody say Bryson DeChambeau?
Not yet.
Okay, well then I will take Bryson, and then I will take Cameron Smith at 50-1.
All right, that's back to Daddy. All right, here we go. I'm going to go with
checking the betting odds.
No, I'm just checking the name so I don't forget somebody. I'm going to take Xander Schauffele.
That's a good pick.
Mike, you for 2.
These are my last 2, man. Give me Justin Thomas. JT seems to be playing a little bit better these days. And give me Brooks Koepka. He's always around.
Yep.
Ah, look at you. Okay. All right, my pick. I'm gonna go with I don't know. Sorry, guys. Let's see. This is
Do we have the Jeopardy? Pick, right? Yeah, where's the Jeopardy music? You got that queued up, John?
Do 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 do.
Oh, he's singing it. Okay, that'll work.
Do 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 do. There's only so many to choose from, Jason.
I'm gonna go Jordan musical. Speed. I'm gonna go Jordan Speed. I'm gonna take a chance.
I like that fella.
Yeah.
He's a wild card. You never know with Jordan.
I know.
All right, and John, so I get one more, right?
Yep.
I'm going to take Hideki Matsuyama.
That's who I was thinking of.
Just because I like his name.
All right, just to recap, John's golfers are Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau, Cam Smith, and Hideki Matsuyama. Jason's golfers are Scotty Scheffler, Ludwig Aberg, and Xander Schauffele and Jordan Spieth. And Mike's 4 are Colin Morikawa, John Rahm, Brooks Koepka, and Justin Thomas. Fellas, good luck. We will update everybody on how we did. All right. So what do we want to do next? Do we want to do the Ravens or do we want to hold off?
Well, we got to do Blast from the Past, right? I think I have one that you guys will get very quickly, but it's a very good one.
All right, let's do it. We'll go Ravens. We're gonna do D-line. We'll do that maybe
Yeah.
on Sunday.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we want to add another one on there too. We can maybe do D line and something else too, or linebackers. But we can.
We'll
figure
leave
all
people
that
on the edge of their seat,
I know.
Just
Little
don't fall
tease.
out, because when you get close to the edge, sometimes you can fall.
Oh my
And-
gosh, that's a frisky joke. Well done
Yes,
with the
yes,
dad
it
joke,
is.
John.
I
Oh
was just coming up with, golfers use tease, and we were teasing the fact that we might talk about the Ravens. So that's where I was headed, but I like where you were, John.
Yeah,
well
I
done,
just
John. So
because
proud.
at our age, when you fall out of the seat, you may not get back up. So you don't want to get too near the edge.
That's terrible. I love it.
So,
All right.
Mike, do you want to go first this time and introduce Blast from the Past?
Oh, Blast from the Past is a segment in which we do a little trivia and we name some facts about a former Orioles baseball player over the last few decades that we may or may not remember, that played for the Orioles, at least at some point in their career. And we give clues, and Jason guesses the right answer, and we all guess the wrong answer. So,
man.
but it's fun for Jason. So we're going to keep this thing going.
It sucks for us, but Jason has such a good time. We're gonna keep it going. Jesus.
Oh my gosh. All right. This right-handed American pitcher spent 6 seasons in MLB from 1987 to 1992. He played with the Tigers, the Orioles, the Rangers, and the Pirates. All right. You guys with me so far?
You said left-handed?
I think I said right-handed, but I'm going to check.
Right-handed.
Yes, right-handed. His win-loss record over his career was 47-40 with a 4.79 ERA and 425 strikeouts. He was drafted 3 times, once in 1979 by the Toronto Blue Jays, in 1980 by the Padres, and then finally in 1983 by the Tigers, 69th overall. He made an appearance in the 1987 ALCS as a member of the Tigers against the Minnesota Twins. He pitched to 2 batters in Game 5, giving up a run-scoring double to Greg Gagne before getting Kirby Puckett to ground out to end the 9th inning.
Wait, this was in 91?
That's 87.
Oh,
Excuse
87.
me.
I'm sorry.
Mike, I need to correct you. It's Greg Gagne.
No, it's not. It's Gagne.
No, it's
isn't it?
not. It's
Gagne?
Gagne. It's Gagne.
Gagne.
It's Eric Gagne,
Greg
fool.
Oh, that's
Gagne.
right. Eric Gagne.
I need to correct you.
Only
and say
listen.
You're an idiot.
I
Stop
can be
speaking
wrong,
again.
but make sure I'm wrong before you correct me. Yeah, I can be wrong. All right. Best season for this this young man came in 1988. Won 13 games, finished with a 2.98 ERA in Detroit. Traded to the Tigers by the Tigers to the Orioles for Mickey Tettleton on January 12th, 1991. He was 4-9 with a 5.18 ERA for the Orioles. He was not a great Oriole.
What
His
year?
demotion, what's
I'm
that?
sorry, Mike. What year was it?
91. And his demotion was after 11 starts. He was optioned to Rochester, and his demotion coincided with the promotion of one Mike Mussina.
Right-hander, 87. Tell me the teams one more time.
Sure. Tigers, Orioles, Rangers, and Pirates. And those were both in 1992.
And was he done after 92?
Yep, that was it.
That was it.
He was referred to with his middle initial because there were 2 pitchers of similar name in his career. Also, he passed away in October of 2014 at the age of 52. He had been a pitching director, coach, and instructor with a baseball academy in Kansas.
Oh my gosh. Tigers, Twins who?
Tigers, Twins, Orioles, Rangers, Pirates. No Twins, Tigers. He played against the Twins in the 87 ALCS.
Oh my gosh.
Did I stump the Schwab?
Kinda. Trying to remember. See, for some reason I was thinking the 87 Twins. Wait, who the Twins play? The Cardinals?
Tigers, ALCS. Tigers, Twins.
Oh, ALCS. Okay.
It's not. No. Yeah, I don't even have a guess. You said he went.
I had this. Middle? I think I had this guy's starting lineup action figure at one point.
No,
you said he went by his middle name, or they gave him a middle initial. Like
no, they used his middle initial because there were two guys with the same name in the same era.
Oh, okay.
And he was a relief pitcher?
He ended up as a reliever, but he was a starter in Baltimore.
Oh God.
You guys ready?
Yeah, I don't know.
Jeff Robinson. Jeff M. Robinson. There is also a Jeff D. Robinson, which is not him.
Which is not him. Oh, you got me on that one, man. Goodness gracious. You dug deep, Mike.
That wasn't like a name that most people would know, though. Not like that's a more trickier one, Mike. That was good.
I mean, maybe. Like, I remembered the guy, but like, again, I had the starting lineup. And I played with those in the bathtub till I was like 17 years old. So
until last week. That's great, Mike. Good job. So happy.
All right. You want me to go next, Jason?
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. So this starting pitcher made his major league debut for the Chicago Cubs May 20th, 1990. He's a right-handed thrower and a right-handed hitter. He played for the Cubs, Phillies, Mariners, Angels, Orioles, and ended his career with the Montreal Expos in 1998. He had a career 49-63 record, 5.14 ERA, 494 strikeouts. He started one of the most historic games at Camden Yards, but for the opposing team.
Rick Sutcliffe.
No, he pitched for the Orioles in that game.
Oh, I thought you meant he pitched for the Orioles and the Cubs was the team he knew for.
No, Rick Sutcliffe had like 200 and some wins, I think, or more.
So he pitched at one of the most historic games in Camden Yards history, but for the other team.
What year did he play for the Orioles?
97.
Oh, well, that was helpful.
I said that already. He was drafted by the Cubs in the 86 Major League Draft.
Give me the teams.
Cubs, Phillies, Mariners, Angels, Orioles, and Expos.
Was he a starter or reliever?
A starter.
Was he a starter for the Orioles?
Yes, he's been a starter. He was the starter his entire career. He grew up in Reno, Nevada.
What's that?
He grew up in Reno, Nevada. He played baseball at Modesto Junior College in Modesto, California. He made his major league debut May 20th, 1990 versus the Red Sox. He pitched a 5-hit complete game, collecting 2 hits himself.
I have a guess. It's not Scott Kamenicki, is it?
No.
I actually, you know what? That name was in my head, Jason.
Hold on. Let me.
Do you want to give me you want me to give you a clue that you'll get it?
Yeah, go ahead.
He gave up Ripken's homer on the night he broke the streak. Or he broke the consecutive
what team
game
did he
streak.
play for? Say it again. I keep forgetting.
He played for the Cubs, Phillies, Mariners, Angels, Orioles, and Expos.
Bosky?
That's not him.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well done.
Interesting.
I figured.
What's his first?
With the
Sean. What's his first name?
Yeah, Sean.
Sean Bosky.
He's I think the other clue I had was he works. I don't know if he's an attorney, but he does something with Alliance for Defending Freedom now. I'm assuming he's an attorney, but I don't know. I just remembered him from giving up the home run to Cal on the night he broke the Lou Gehrig's record.
Got you. Talk amongst yourselves for 1 second.
Well done, John. Well done.
Yeah. There's some interesting guys that played very short stints. And then I found some guys out who I thought were like related to other like more famous players, but they're not related. Like there was a Molina who played for the Orioles. Did you know that? But he's not related to Benji. He's not related to Benji, Yachty, or Jose.
Catching Molinas, yeah.
He was a catcher though, but he was from California, not Puerto Rico. he played like 3 games for the Orioles in like the early 2000s. So I was gonna pick him, but I'm like, I don't think that anybody would even know who this guy is. So I'm gonna be nice and pick somebody who you might actually know.
Hey, it was tough enough, man. That was a good one.
You mean like Jeff Robinson that I didn't even know who the hell?
Yeah, right. I fixate on one thing. When you give me clues, I'm like, I fixate on one thing. I'm like, Cub pitcher. Rick Sutcliffe. No, it's not nothing to do with it. No, it's wrong.
No. Jesse Orozco.
I was going to use Sutcliffe previously, but I figured you guys would get it. A lot of wins there. All right. My fella. Let me pull it up here. Sorry, my phone died on me again because it's an old-ass phone. All right, so my guy made his debut in 1989 with the Braves. And hold on 1 second. My phone. You guys will you'll know that was in 1989 with the Braves. He also played with the Reds, the Marlins, the A's, the Orioles, and the Indians. He finished his career in 2000. Okay, hold on. My phone just cut out. So 1998 with Cleveland, but also played with the Tigers in 98 and Toronto in 99. Finished his career with the Dodgers. Okay. He had 101 home runs. He was an outfielder. His most productive years were with the A's in 94, 95, and 96. He came over to the Orioles in the trade deadline. Well, before the trade deadline in 1997. Again, career home runs, 101. With the Orioles, he batted .260 with 10 home runs once he came over.
And you said he retired in 2000 with the Tigers?
Dodgers. So just to recap the teams, the Braves, the Reds, the Marlins, the A's, the Orioles, the Indians, the Tigers, the Blue Jays, and the Dodgers. But he only played for the Orioles in 1997. Won that playoff team. And Mike, you're going to kick yourself on this guy.
It's not Tony. No. Tony.
And the Orioles traded for him essentially because he had 16 home runs with Oakland before he came over in 97.
Oh, now hold on. Oh. Which outfield position do you play?
The left side normally. I think he also did some DHing. He's a right. Actually, it said right field. I think he played right and left field for us.
And then he went to the Indians and the Dodgers after us.
Now, let's be clear here. Give me 1 second as far as games played. After he left us, he played, let's see, like 20 games for Cleveland, 52 with Detroit, 22 with Toronto. So his career started kind of fading down. Big bopper, Michael. Big bopper.
Yeah.
Weird
Sounds like it.
stance. Weird stance. Very open, if you will.
Geronimo
Name it.
Baroa.
Yay!
Yeah.
Good job, Mike. Well done.
This
All
fella.
right. This fella,
Yeah.
wide open, crazy stance. All right. Well, we have gone over as usual with our shenanigans.
We love sports.
That's
Well,
true.
and guys, I was surprised you guys didn't say anything about my hat.
I can't see that far, John.
I can't read that far away.
Oh,
Is that a
okay.
devil ray?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the only hat that I had right now that matched my shirt. And I liked the City Connect hat. I thought it was very stylish.
Well done.
I also
Black
saw a
t-shirt.
Tampa Bay Rays cup in your video. Are you switching sides? What's going on right now?
No, it was just a cup that I could fit the liquor and the soda in. It was big enough. Yeah.
All right. All right, fellas. Well, I guess we will reconvene on Sunday to go over who won this Masters shenanigans. I use the word shenanigans. And then give an update on the Orioles. Hopefully things turn around. But, Mike, would you like to lead us to the promised land?
You better watch out using that word shenanigans, or the old Super Troopers are going to get after you. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Dad Bods, Crab Cakes, and Sports. Thanks for hanging out with us this evening. Don't forget to subscribe on Red Circle, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. While you're at it, leave us a review if you can. It helps us out. We're trying to spread the good word about Baltimore sports far and wide. Be sure to follow us on social media for more behind-the-scenes action, memes, and bad sports takes. You can find us at dadbods_crabcakes_sports on Instagram and at dadbods crab cakes and sports on our Facebook page. Have a question or topic you want us to cover? Hit us up at dadbodscrabcakesandsports@gmail.com. You never know, we might just shout you out in our next episode. Until next time, keep rocking those dad bods, eating those crab cakes, and never miss the game.
Adios.
Sayonara.